Hey, it's Douglas Beck with the Growth Collective. In this video, we're diving into a powerful strategy that can help you get paid twice on a single real estate deal. Most investors leave money on the table without even realizing it. I'll break down exactly how to structure your deals for upfront cash flow and back-end profits. But before we get started, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more insights on scaling your real estate business. Then jump in. With the deal structure, I've talked about this in the past, but I don't know if we've talked about it. It's like this concept of what I call the hybrid wholesale. And people will throw the term hybrid around for different things, like hybrid electric vehicle, a hybrid sub two deal or something like that. Like, I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about the combination of being able to flip, the deal to somebody or something like a partnership or an individual, but then have the ability to negotiate into the deal some benefit on the back end or even in the middle sometimes of the deal. And so the hybrid wholesale is just a concept. It's not really it's not like a proprietary thing that I've done.
Right.
The concept is that, like, if you think about the deal and you think about the work involved, so from the time you find an opportunity until you have a contract on that property, you've got what most people call acquisition. Acquisition is pretty much identify, analyze, negotiate, and contract. Okay, that's all acquisitions work. When you get into the final piece of acquisition, if you're going to buy the property, is the close, and that's just purchasing the property. But if you're wholesaling it, you normally would flip the deal to someone else to then let them close, and now you get paid for bringing that whole first four-step of the process to that buyer for the deal. So what we're saying is we want to get paid. If you're doing a hybrid wholesale, you want to get paid for the first four steps, and you want to stay in the deal somehow to get paid after the fifth step, basically. So your first four steps get paid at step 5, and then step 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and whatever else happens after that is paid at the end of whatever that end is. It might be a sale of the property, it might be a refinance, and like I said before, it could be a negotiation where maybe you operate, for example, as a project manager, or if you're going to facilitate the renovation, but you're not doing the work, but you can oversee the project. You could be a project manager. If you're going to communicate for the property or the project, you could kind of do property management or project management, where like you're the one facilitating the contractor, the access, the lender, this and that, all that kind of stuff. Even administrative stuff could be part of your responsibility. You don't have to have a lot of like tactical real estate or development or renovation experience to do those things. You just have to have some kind of ability to speak on the phone, communicate, track, organize, all that stuff. On the backside, the backside of the deal, it's like saying, well, because Donna was a part of the middle, like she brought the deal, but she already got paid for the beginning. She got paid at the closing for what she did in the beginning. But because she worked from the end of the beginning, which is now the beginning of the second phase, which is I bought the property, Donna's now her company in that deal. She's working through the deal to the end. The work that she did in the beginning of that phase, in the middle, and then to the end of it, when we sell the property, we refinance it, Donna needs to get some kind of value for doing that work, but she doesn't get paid for that work. So the question is really breaking apart the two: acquisitions and then everything else. It could be acquisitions and managed renovation until sale, or it could be acquisitions and property management for getting tenants in place or managing reno and then putting tenants and then handling refinance. You could have like acquisitions and then you could be just a credit partner if you have really good credit, for example, or you could be an experienced partner, or you could be just another partner on the deal to help facilitate and manage and operate the deal. And like when we look to, like, for example, Don, I mean, look at commercial real estate projects like multifamily syndication, self-storage, these kind of deals. Most times, like, 9 times out of 10, maybe even 99 times out of 100, those groups are buying in, a team model where you have somebody focused on acquisition, somebody focused on underwriting, somebody focused on asset management, investor relations, all these different things. So if you borrow that concept and you apply it to a scalable residential real estate business where you're investing in real estate, you say, if I just did one deal, like, why would I ever need this to do just one deal? Well, you still could, but is it necessary to have this approach? Not necessarily, but if you're buying, let's say, 5, 10, 20 deals a year, you might want to think like, well, who's doing what? Like, am I doing acquisitions, or am I doing project management, or am I doing, construction management specifically? Like, I'm handling the renovations, I'm on site, I'm watching the contractors work. Like, what are you doing and what are they doing? That's the question you'd want to ask. So real estate agent, she gets paid at the sale. She might get paid on the front end if she's helping present the offer, if she's a buyer's agent. When she sells the property for the company or for you and your company, she's going to get paid a commission. Contractor, he or she gets paid for running the renovation, actually managing the work and doing the work. But the question is, does this business, and the answer, by the way, I'll tell you, is usually yes. Does this business need management layer on top of it? Meaning, if Donna said, okay, we're done, we closed the deal and Donna just sat back with her partner who bought the property, for example, and said, we're going to watch them work and wait till they're done and then wait until the realtor sells it. Well, that's going to take a certain amount of time and it's going to have a certain amount of risk. It's way more risk and more time than if Donna, for example, stepped in and said, hey, I'm going to make sure this thing runs like a well-oiled machine. I'm going to make sure people are on site every day, Monday through Saturday, doing work, getting stuff done. I want to make sure we're on track, on budget, on schedule, in scope, all that. And then I'm going to make sure that we sell it with the right agent selling it, and maybe the person that is my partner or maybe somebody else, to get the highest price possible to squeeze out the most profit. Like, that's management, right? So you can play the management role as well as the acquisitions role. So you get paid at closing for acquisitions, something. It could be 5, 10, 20, 30 grand, whatever it is. And then you get paid at the sale or the refinance for management, right? And you could get paid in the form of an actual fee and or equity or profit share, right? So there's a difference there where you could be paid as like a consultant to the company, or like not really an employee, but just getting paid as a service provider for bringing project management, for example, to the project. And you get paid throughout the process to get project management to be like almost like a job, but it's a contracted position, And then you could get paid at the end as a profit share incentive. So let's say in the beginning, to give you real numbers, let's say in the beginning, and I have an example, but I was going to use your deal as an example. Let's say you're going to plan to get 10, right? And 10 is your target, is what you want to get of the wholesale fee. And that would be 10 at the front and nothing on the back as one option, like 10 and then 0, basically.
Right. That's what I was planning on. Right.
Let's say it was 3 buckets. Let's say it was 10, 0, 0. 10 being the wholesale fee, 0 being the management part, and then 0 being the back end profit or revenue share of the deal. So if you take those 3 buckets, you say that's one option. The second option might be 5, 5, and 5, for example. I'm just using random numbers, but let's just say it's 5, 5, 5. 5K for the wholesale fee, 5K across the duration of the renovation for doing what? Well, for managing, for doing support, for being on site, if I can get there, all that kind of stuff, dealing with the phone calls, the interactions with the contractor, blah, blah, blah. And then 5 at the back end for doing all that stuff at a discounted rate. Like, you're going to charge 5 in the middle because you normally would charge 10, but because you're doing it with the profit share in the back, you're like, no, I'm going to take 5 here in the middle until I earn the other 5 at the end of it. And I'm taking 5 at the front instead of taking 10 at the front. You know what I mean? Another model might be 5, 0, 10, for example. Like, you might say, I'm going to forego the middle thing. I don't need the project management. I'm going to earn my equity and get more on the backside. And maybe it's 10, maybe it's 20. I don't know what the number is, but it might be a percentage. It might be a certain number. You know what I mean? But you're going to get something. What I don't recommend is, if you do this, and this is for a lot of reasons, if you can keep something on the front, especially in the beginning, so that you have some kind of profit incentive in the front of the deal, that's going to keep you motivated. And the justification is that it takes time and it takes money. Like, you've already put in, I know you've put in money because we're working together. I know that you put in time because I talk to you frequently enough to know you put in time. But like, even if you and I weren't working together and you put in very little time, if you were super efficient and like you had no money out of pocket and you had very little time invested, there's something special about your process that lets you get a deal like that. And that subject matter expertise is like, that's what you're getting paid on the front end for being that good at that. Like, that's kind of what happens sometimes, honestly, with us, with me, with some of my team members. Like, we don't have to put in a tremendous amount of time. We don't have to put in a tremendous amount of money, but we're really good at being really focused on the things that we're really good at. So, all right, now you know how to stack your profits and maximize every deal. This approach can completely change how you think about wholesaling and investing. If this was helpful, like the video, drop a comment below with your thoughts, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.